of soul.
This is Bass Talk Live. Your host, Mark Jeffries and Matt Pangrack. BTL is brought to you by Lowrance, Lose, Strike King Lures, Bass Cat Boats, Ducket Fishing, Spro, AFCO, Big Bite Baits, Sunline, and TH Marine. BTL coming at you. Good Wednesday, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Matthew, got to tell you right off the bat, dude, I got that message yesterday, that verbiage, that gauntlet that nobody wants to hear when you're at the dentist.
That you needed a root canal.
Ooh.
Did you get it?
Ooh, you need to come back tomorrow.
Is that today?
Yeah.
You have to do a root canal today.
Yeah.
What time?
12:20.
Do they put you? They don't put you under for that, do they?
I think they kind of make you a little loopy.
A little.
Relaxed. Relax.
What is a root? Like
They take the
drill?
nerve, they drill and take the nerve out of the tooth. Dude, I am not looking forward to it.
How many
I
of
went
those
in
have
there.
you had before?
One.
Is it bad?
That was when, like, these two front teeth are fake. I got them chipped out.
Are there any dentists that fish? Remember, who was it? Was it Paul Horosky, who was a...
Optometrist?
No. What are the guys who do all the meds?
Pharmacist.
Pharmacist, wasn't
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Is there any-
I don't know, dude.
Is there anybody in the...
I got to be honest with you. I do not like the dentist. I do not like anything about getting my teeth drilled on and oral surgery. And I am. Let's hope it goes okay, which it probably will. I mean, the dentist, known him forever.
What could not go okay?
It's the after effects.
Oh.
It's the recovery.
So tomorrow we have an evening show.
Hopefully I can talk. You might be able to do the whole
Are you
show.
going to look like a chipmunk? Or?
I don't know.
Some would say that's an improvement.
Yeah, good point. So, 12:20 today, had to miss class. It was either get it done tomorrow or today or wait 3 weeks, and the thing is killing me. So I made the call, got a substitute, and going to get it done today at 12:20. And hopefully, I will not have any issues on the special Thursday edition of BTL. We're going to do an evening show, folks, 7 p.m. Central Time. And in case you haven't noticed, two special guests. We're going to have Gray Buck on. Then we're going to have Ish Monroe. I told you I was working on a West Coast guy. Mm-hmm. With it being an evening show, it was much easier for the West Coast guys to come on the show. And last week I talked about the greatest home field advantage maybe in the history of fishing when he...
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what he says about that.
I talked to him a little bit about it. And there are some ties there, but there is a definite twist to the reason that he dominated the field.
Okay.
And we're gonna hear about it.
Get into. I know, like he had some really cool posts, I believe, about the matching the color of the crawfish with his baits and stuff. Did he talk to you about that?
No.
And there are just some. Cool...
I told him we'll get into that on the show. But very, very interesting way that he attacked and really went after the win on this event. And I was really intrigued, and I was like, whoa, man, don't go too far into it because I want to talk about it on the show. And then Gray Buck, wow, when's the last time we had him on the show? Last year?
Yeah, did we have him on around the classic time? Maybe once or twice, but I think he won the pointless tournament in the Toyota or the FLW Tackle Warehouse title.
The what?
The tournament that didn't mean anything. The 5-fish tournament. Because like all of his fish were over 4 pounds. You know, like a 5-10. He only caught 5 on the final day, but he had a 20-pound, 11-ounce limit.
Yeah.
So had it been If and buts were cherries and nuts, we all have a Merry Christmas. And if my aunt had nuts, she'd be my uncle.
Yeah.
But he caught the biggest.
But he's had a really, really good start to his career, and we had him on the show, I know, last year, and we were talking about his success in the Open. So we're going to talk more about what he has had going on this season and the success and really maybe what the future holds for Gray Buck. All right, today's show, a good one. We're going to have Matt Reed on, and we discussed last week the weather, the hurricane, the effect that it's going to have on Sam Rayburn. There's not too many people out there that know Sam Rayburn Lake like Matt Reed. Mm-hmm. He's not fishing the tournament, so he's going to kind of give us an indication of, if any, effect that Hurricane Laura is going to have on the Open next week. Obviously, you're headed down there. And then he's going to give us an update on some of the stuff. Remember what he said, August and September, the very best time to go to Falcon Lake if you want to catch a big one.
So you call it Sam Rayburn Lake. Technically,
Lake Sam Rayburn.
No, the name is Sam Rayburn Reservoir.
Oh, whatever.
So that led me just now, the spur of the moment. Do you know the difference between a lake and a reservoir?
A lake is actually created by nature, and a reservoir is created by man.
Very impressive. A lake is where surface water runoff and maybe groundwater seepage have accumulated in a low spot relative to the surrounding countryside. But in fact, a reservoir is a man-made lake that is created when a dam is built.
Yeah.
River water backs up behind the dam, creating a reservoir.
Yeah. So do you know what lake? Forget about the Great Lakes because those are all natural. What reservoir has the most shoreline in the U.S.? It's actually here in Oklahoma.
Is it Texoma?
No.
Or no, Eufaula.
Yeah.
It's got to be Eufaula.
Yeah, it is.
Eufaula, you can drive, and they have the trailer tournaments, you can drive an hour and a half one way and still be on the lake.
Yeah.
A lot of news that came down the pipe yesterday regarding the Toyota series.
Schedule.
Obviously, that is the former Costa series. They went to, let's see if I can get this right. They went to 8 divisions last year. They renamed it the Toyota series. The top 25 qualified for the championship that is now in December on Lake Cumberland. The new schedule came out. They're cutting it back to 6 divisions with 3 tournaments in each division. There's a Northern, a Plains, a Southern, a Southwestern, and a Western. And then the Toyota Series Championship will still only have the top 25 from each. So it'll be a 150 boat field as opposed to over 200, which is what it had been with the top 40 in the 5 divisions that they used to have. Mm-hmm. And it's to be determined. It still says that the payout for the championship will be, I believe, $200,000. And it's a decent schedule here. Lake of the Ozarks in March, jerkbait deal. Mm-hmm. Early April on Grand, still a jerkbait deal, possibly bedding fish depending on how Mother Nature. And then early May on Lake Dardanelle, so that'll be a spawn tournament there. Northern Division, Champlain, St. Lawrence, and Potomac. Central Division, Gunnersville, Dale Hollow on the schedule.
Very nice.
Which that lake is fishing really good too. And then Chickamauga. The Southern Division is Kissimmee, Harris Chain, and Seminole. So they're just doing all Florida there, a little bit of Georgia sprinkled in there. Mm-hmm. Sam Rayburn, Texoma, and Sam Rayburn for the Southwestern Division.
Now, wait a minute. All right, stop right there. I just want to say this. How many Great Lakes are there in the Texas, Louisiana, even Oklahoma area that they could have potentially went instead of going to Sam Rayburn
listen,
twice?
I think this is a numbers play here. They're looking
what about
to
Toledo
up
Bend?
Their numbers.
Toledo Bend?
Maybe they could make it work. But here's the interesting thing. The Southwestern Division is over by April 28th. It's January, March, and April.
Multiple divisions you could fish.
Sam Rayburn, January 28th through 30th. Texoma, 25th through 27th. April 28th through 30th. Now, the thing that gets me when you start doing the divisions and stuff, and it's always been this way, between the Central Division and the Southwestern Division, it seems like they hacked that schedule up. So you got a bunch of Oklahoma guys who love to fish Texoma, love to fish Grand, but they're in different divisions now, so you can't qualify. It's always been like that. There's always been one tournament in that Southwestern division that the Central guys really want to fish, and vice versa, but they can't seem to separate it to where it's like 3 that the Central guys want to fish and 3 that the Southwestern. And then the Western division is really good too. Shasta in late January, the Cal Delta in May, and Clear Lake in September. So they're going to do
lights out there.
Based on 160 boats. 40th place will get $2,000. First place gets the $40K. And
what's the entry fee?
$1,700.
All right. How many spots are they going to pay? Did it say? Based upon 150?
160, 40.
Okay,
so they're paying
one for 4.
They're paying more spots than the Bassmaster Opens.
Yeah, 1 for 4.
Oh.
Interesting. Well,
and if you get paid, here's the thing: if you get paid, you get more than your money back. $1,700 entry fee, $2,000 for 40th. Like I got some of the last checks, snuck in and got it. Yeah. Literally covered my entry fee by like $20. Same thing in the Open, you get paid more, but they only pay $40 out of like $250. So also, speaking of Sam Rayburn, through the grapevine, have not talked to Chris Bowes, officially tournament director for the Bassmaster Opens, but through the grapevine, things are looking promising. Not definite, but very promising for the Rayburn Open. Not an issue with the lake, not an issue with gas facilities. Everything's good there. I think it's an issue with
housing?
Yeah, logistics, and making sure that the people who are there from the community have everything in line for a big bass tournament to come in, because obviously displaced people, no electricity, and no homes takes precedent over a bass tournament. So understandable there. It sounds like he's doing everything, and word is we'll hear, well, we have to, because it's next week, hear word in the next couple of days just to make sure everything is going down. But I'm preparing as though it's going down, Mark.
Well, you should.
Put my time in yesterday. I spent 12 hours just getting crap ready. It's the most time you've spent getting stuff ready for a tournament.
Fishing tournament?
Yeah.
I don't know, a day on and off. You know,
day.
Dabble around, do something else. Get stuff ready, do something else. Just kind of take the Saturday or Sunday, the weekend prior. That's about it.
I'm a big...
Because most of my stuff, when I was in the vibe, when I really was fishing every other weekend, I had my stuff dialed in, dude. I mean, I was organized. I knew where everything was. If I needed this. You remember the old tackle room I had at Noble? I mean, it was like that, except it was at a different house.
See, I'm not good at maintaining.
You're a mess,
organization.
Dude.
I'm very good at OCD organization. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see
you're a mess.
I get stuff absolutely super organized, but I'm not good at keeping it organized.
That's the key to the whole thing. What did I do with this? Where is this at?
No, I mean, I'm good with that on the tournaments. It's just like after a week. So after Rayburn, right? I'm going to have everything dialed in, but after Rayburn, it's going to look like a disaster. But right now it looks like a mixture of...
So you put your time in.
A-Mart and Charlie Hartley.
Yeah. You put your time in. Yeah. That's what you got to do. All right, real quick, and then we're going to take a break, come back with Matt Reed. Dude, you remember I told you last weekend I missed my Zoom reunion, my 40th reunion?
Yeah.
Last night I actually got an opportunity to talk to a gentleman that was one of my best friends in high school. I hadn't talked to him in, I don't know, 35 years probably, and spent about an hour on the phone with him. And let me ask you this. We were talking about mutual friends that we had in high school. You know, hey, what happened to John Smith? Hey, what happened to, you know...
You just Google
Chris Jones
John Smith, it'll pop up. Chris Jones, he's the MC for FLW now.
Well,
there you go.
I was making up names.
Oh, okay.
All right. I don't take the time to sit there and go, oh, I wonder what happened to this guy. Let me Google him up. It was just random conversation. So one of the names that I said was a guy that was one class below us. He graduated 1 year after us. His name was Brent Hocking. Played basketball with us. We kind of hung around and played a ton of basketball together. And I asked him, I said, whatever happened to Brent? Oh, man, he's like big time. I go, what do you mean? he like hangs out with Drake and does
the rapper.
Yeah, and does business deals with Drake and started this tequila company. Now he's doing a whiskey company with Drake. He's into the alcohol manufacturing. And I looked at his photo, and the dude looks nothing like he did in high school. Nothing. He is like jacked and just, I mean, he's 57 years old, but it's just weird to reflect. And you think about what these people were like when you were in high school, and you had no idea that eventually this guy was going to be worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, living in Malibu, having homes all across the U.S., doing business deals with Drake. So it was quite interesting to see. And he actually did an interview on the Wall Street Journal television network. And I sat there and I was blown away. Now, do you have anybody that you can recall from your younger days that actually made it big time like Brent Hocking?
Yeah.
Who?
I'm looking it up right now. I played hockey with a kid who he was like near the top of the High Times most influential people in the cannabis world a couple years ago.
So we've got alcohol and pot that we're referring to as far as blast from the past there.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now, and he's I think he was a multimillionaire before, but he was very early on in the oils. And the, vaping, the oils, the cannabis oils.
Really?
And was on the cutting edge. And, he's been on like magazine covers and all sorts of stuff. He's very, very influential in the marijuana industry.
So there you have it. So two fortunes made, one in marijuana and the other one in alcohol. But never would have thought, man. You think about what he was like, or I think about what he was like back in high school. Never would have thought that he would end up doing that. His dad was a big-time pastor at one of the churches that was actually affiliated with the school that I went to, which was, you just never know. Anyway, but yeah, man, he was classified as a whale. Do you know what a whale is?
Yeah, a whale's he's the man.
When he goes to Vegas?
Yep.
So my friend Tom, that I chatted with last night, said, yeah, dude, he was a whale. He's a whale. Lives in Malibu. It's like, I'm waiting to see him on that, what is that show, $1 Million Listing? That's on Bravo. Maybe I'll see him on there. I don't know. But it was good to catch up. We had a number of stories that we reflected back on. And is your reunion coming up at all? 20?
No, dude, I don't have a reunion. I never actually went to a high school. I did
that's right. You did the hockey
classes and hockey and all sorts of stuff, and went to.
You feel like you missed out, man?
No.
You really don't, huh?
No.
Huh.
No, dude, I was fishing, hockey, and going to JUCO classes.
Everything was great, man.
Yeah. I got a date with a junior in college when I was a junior in high school.
That's impressive.
During a chemistry class, she asked what year I was. Sat down next to me first week. I said, I'm a junior. She said, so am I. Here's how I got busted. I was actually playing high school hockey.
Yeah.
And they had a university skate following the game. She saw me. She said, what are you doing playing in the game? I said, well, I'm a junior in high school.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez. How did that end up?
I had to withdraw from that class like halfway through the semester. Dude, I was going to be a fisheries biologist. Like, I loved it. I got A's and everything.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
I sucked at chemistry 3 years, and
That's
I could not get through basic chemistry, Mark. It was like it was like fishing grass for me. Chemistry.
Could you remember the
is like
symbols?
Fishing grass.
The periodic table?
Yeah.
What's CO2?
Oxygen.
We're moving on. All right. We're taking a break.
Nitrogen and oxygen?
CO2? Come on, man. Look it up. That's the world we live in today. Just Google it up and get it figured out. All right, we're going to take a break. Come back with Matt Reed. Talk a little
carbon
Falcon.
dioxide.
There you have it. Talk a little Falcon. Talk a little Sam Rayburn. And everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
ultimate fishing system starts with Lowrance HDS Live. The best fish finding tools, from chirp sonar and fish reveal to side scan and down scan imaging, and complete touchscreen control from your trolling motor to your big motor.
We've paired one of the most iconic hulls in the history of bass boats with a proven lineup of trusted accessories. We're bringing you best-in-class value and performance, leaving others in your wake. Turnkey value, turnkey performance. The Pantera 2 is an overachiever in the 19-foot category. Once you hit the throttle, you'll feel the rush, and there's no looking back.
Kevin, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm just filling in for Billy.
I need a 660 shad crankbaits in the Series 5 model.
We're out.
You're not out. You got all kinds of them right there.
We're out.
Kevin, I need 6.
Have a lollipop.
I do not want a lollipop.
Have a lollipop.
Do you have it the sexy shad color?
AFCO's new Yuri performance shirts are made out of a new fabric. Aeromesh technology, Aeromesh fabric, really breathable. You know, it just doesn't stick to you whenever you're sweating. It's 105 in Florida. You know, you got sun beating down, there's hardly any wind. You know, your shirt won't stick to your back or anything like that. Any little breeze gets through it, and all the AFCO features that you like with the hood, not without a hood, depending on which one you like. It's got odor technology, so your pits don't stink whenever you're sweating. It has thumb loops. So whenever you're driving down the lake, 70 miles an hour in a bass boat, you got the thumbs through here, sleeves won't roll up, so you have no excuse if you get sunburned. Any little breath of air gets through and cools you down, so make sure you check them out. Any fish, any water, any conditions, AFCO has you covered.
At Duckett Fishing, we have assembled the top pros in the country to help us design rods to give you a competitive advantage. Castability, strength, durability, action, sensitivity, weight and balance, and consistency. Combine that with the best warranty in the industry, and you have rods that are pro-driven.
Duckett Fishing, pro-driven.
Blue Water by TH Marine, offering LED lighting solutions for your boat, trailer, truck, ATV, and so much more. Engineered and built to be rugged with waterproof and submersible options. Designed for easy installation, Blue Water is available in a variety of colors and styles. All backed by a limited lifetime warranty. Blue Water by TH Marine.
All right, we are back on a Wednesday. Remember, folks, a special PM show tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time, and hopefully I will be able to speak. Some people out there will keep their fingers crossed that I can't speak.
Because of your root canal.
Yeah, and some other stuff. Got some stuff going on, dude. I really do.
What do you mean?
In the back of my mouth with my molars.
Oh, tooth-wise. Not like life, emotional.
No.
The rest of the physical stuff.
No, it's all good. All right. It is time for our special guest. Let's bring him in now. Matt, you there, man?
I'm there, Mark. What do you know?
Hey, thanks for taking time out, man. And it is that time of the year, and I want to throw back real quick. Several months ago, you said August and September are the months that if you want to catch a big fish at Falcon Lake, that's when you need to go. Is it still that way?
That's right. It is still that way, and I have not been able to be there for 6 weeks since we had that northern swing, so I can't wait to get back. Matter of fact, I'm packing the truck right now, so I'm headed that way.
Have you ever had a root canal, Matt?
Oh, jeez.
I have not.
Jeffries has one tomorrow.
Today.
Today, yeah. I just wanted to know if you'd.
Today? Ooh, yeah, I'd be a little nervous.
Yeah. So
yeah,
we'll get on with it. All right, man. We've got the Open going on. We'll talk about Falcon here in a little bit, but we've got the Open taking place on Sam Rayburn next week. Obviously, some thoughts, concerns, whatever you want to call it, on the effect that Hurricane Laura had on that area. You've been there. What can you tell us about the condition of Sam Rayburn?
You know, it actually, I was on the water over there, just before it, and it was low, about 2.5 feet low, and it did not catch any water. Okay, it's still low. It had a ton of wind in that area, so it probably tore up some of the hydrilla. There's not that much hydrilla anyway, but it did. I'm sure that big wind tore up a bunch of the grass that was there, because that's what happens when you get one of those storms. They were out without power, and a lot of trees down and that type of stuff. So, the area got tore up a little bit. The lake's going to have been beat up a little bit, but in general, it should not have changed it all that much from what it was before the storm, because the water level didn't take a major hit.
All right, we talk about it on this show. We talk about how tough the month of September is all across the country, with the exception of maybe some of the places up north. What is going to be the vibe? What do you think? What can you predict on how the bite is going to be? Is it going to be tough? Do you think that the locals are going to have a tremendous amount of advantage during this event? What are your thoughts, Matt?
It's been pretty tough over there lately. I was over there, it's been a little over a week ago, about a week ago, a little over. And I caught 30 fish, but I didn't have a 3-pounder. So, I could get a bite, but I couldn't catch a good one. There's going to be a bunch of things go on over there during that event. There's going to be a shallow bite, that hydrilla I'm talking about. There's going to be some bites around it, flipping it or fishing around it. Going to be a little bit of hay grass bite. There's still some water in the hay grass, and a lily pad frog bite is going to happen if somebody's in the right place at the right time. But it will be hard to win doing that. You're going to win on hard spots, red clay points and ridges. We've got spider stumps on them. Those are just big stumps down there that have big root systems. Or brush piles are going to play. The one thing all the folks from out of town wish had happened is that the lake had come up, because it would have taken the river out of play. And there's a couple of those river hands that are going to be hard to handle.
So the local guys definitely going to have an advantage during this event, Matt? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right.
How many guys would you say do you know that can run that river up there? Like, if you had to just throw a number of guys that you would trust, that you would get in the boat with and just say, have at it, and run way past the second bridge without worried about it, how many guys exist that you know that can do that?
If you said that I would totally trust.
Yeah, 100% that you'd get in the boat with.
I'm going to give you one.
One.
What?
I would totally trust. I'll give you one that I would totally trust. There's probably 20 that are pretty good at it, getting up there.
20.
But there's one that knows the way.
And there's thousands of guys that fish Sam Rayburn.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
How many lower units do you think have been lost above the second bridge there? Just guesstimate.
Oh, if you've run it if you tried to learn it, you lost one. There's the guys that know it, they learned it before the trees fell. But when you could see the channels, when you could see where to run, and there's a couple of good chips that have boat lanes for a lot of it. There's also a couple of chips that have imaginary boat lanes marked on it that people tell me they're running a boat lane that's marked on a chip, and I've been fishing that lake since the trees were standing, and there aren't boat lanes where some of those things say there are.
Ooh.
Would you say Sam Rayburn is one of the easiest lakes to learn how to catch fish on and one of the toughest lakes to learn well?
That was my old home water. Now, I cut my teeth there years and years and years ago. I learned that lake in sections, okay? And I'm not talking about sections a month at a time. I'm talking about a couple of years at a time. You can catch fish all over that lake. but you cannot win if you're not in the right zone, and that zone changes. So you have to stay with that lake, stay current with it, you know, to be in the opportunity to win.
Interesting.
Yeah, Matt, since you said that, there are so many iconic areas on that lake, historical areas. When you have a 3-day event, is it one of those things where you want to focus on one of those areas, or do you get off the beaten path and then establish something and then try and duplicate that pattern in that area in different parts of the lake? How is it gonna play out this time of the year?
You know, Mark, I've always tried on that lake to establish a zone, okay? Because it's so big. If you start trying to run all over that place, you know, chasing a pattern, you'll spend half your day behind a big motor. You know, that's one of the issues over the years in major events that I've had to make myself concentrate on, is not to run too much when you know it real well. Because you'll think, oh, over there is something just like where we were, and it's a 30-minute run one way. You know, so I think you need to find a zone of the lake, concentrate on it, learn a whole lot about it, find you some shallow fish, some deep fish. Just once you lock in, I think you need to stay in a zone of the lake. And when I say a zone of the lake, that zone may be 15 miles long, you know, 10 or 12 at least. And right now there's the zone on the 147 side where most of the winning has happened over the last 10 years. But also that Ash Bayou side is coming back some. So it's kind of a sneaky player in this event, because it has made a little bit of a comeback on that side.
So we booked you, and I didn't realize Mark had booked you before this tournament leading into it. And you're a guide there. You've guided there. You guide on Falcon and stuff. And I'm sure you talked to a lot of guys about tournaments. I'll just say it. I called Matt Reed and I said, dude, what are some generals going into this? Because I did the same thing for the last tournament that was there. 0 waypoints, right, Matt?
Right, 0.
0 waypoints, general information in the zone. Basically the conversation we just had on BTL right now. I knew Matt was going to, steer me in the right direction. Hey, this is what I just needed someone to be like, that's right. This is the zone. This is it. You're good. And then I could say, as long as I just needed some confirmation. But here's my question, Matt. I'm sure I wasn't the only guy who called and wanted to sniff around for some information on Sam Rayburn. You know that type of Texas area. When there's a tournament like this, I'm not asking names. I'm just curious. How many guys call you to kind of pick your brain about stuff like that? Like for this Open or for a tournament down at Falcon or Toledo Bend. I mean, are you getting 1 or 2 guys, or are you getting 40 guys that are calling saying, dude, hook me up with the juice?
I don't get that many. I'll get a half a dozen calls for most major events on lakes that you're real familiar with. Now, it's been so long since Rayburn and Toledo were my home lakes that I don't get as many calls as I used to. Just because I'm not at the top of that list anymore, because I'm not over there all the time. Now, if there's a major event coming at Falcon, it gets kind of, it gets a little strange. You develop a lot of friends real fast.
Yeah. So how do you decide who to help? And this is a deal. Do you have like a buddy who calls and is like, I don't want you to help anyone else. I'm your guy. You got to tell everyone else no. Do you give guys the same general information? Do you ever tell guys, sorry, dude, I'm helping other people? Do you ever just say, I don't feel like giving out any information for this tournament?
I'm always going to give somebody some general information, Matt. If somebody was to call me and tell me he was my guy, don't talk to anybody else, I wouldn't give him a darn thing. So, you just have to play that. In this industry, we all want information at some point in time on current lakes. You help people that are going to help you across the board over the years, people that you pretty well can trust that you're going to get some honest information back if you need it. So, you have to limit what you do. and there's times where somebody helps 10 people and gives them the same information. If you do that, you didn't help anybody. So, you can't put people on top of each other if you're trying to help them, because you're not doing any good at all. So, I'd rather give somebody some in general information like I did you for that event, and it's an event you did really well in. You give a good angler some areas and what's going on. That's a lot of times that's more help than numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, honestly, if you've got a hot spot, a deep spot that's going to play maybe, and you're going to give somebody your numbers, you're going to give your best buddy the number to that hole. That's the way that goes. If you got, but you have to limit what you do, because you want to help the people that you're trying to help instead of put them all on top of each other where it doesn't do any of them any good.
I bring that up just because over talking with other people, I feel like you're one of the most kind of trusted and respected anglers in that region and across. And, everybody has nice things to say about you, and you're also offshore. And then during the Elite Series at FLW Tour, you're often fishing around other anglers, and you're one of the guys who seems to be able to get it done without ever making any enemies or crossing anybody. So that's a big compliment there.
Hell, I appreciate it. Sometimes you just have to bite your tongue really hard.
Hey, what is this? Mark Lamb on YouTube is asking, ask Matt if he remembers falling asleep with the boat in gear during practice on Lake Gunnersville during a bass event.
That's been a while. You do that when you're idling and graphing a bunch. And I wish he was still on there. I would love for you to ask him about our practice. And it was going amazingly well, and he'd caught like 3 or 4 6-pounders in a row out of the back of my boat on a trap. And I said, swing me that trap so I can look at it. I reached over and got my pliers and balled his hooks up in a little knot, and I says, now you can throw it again.
Wow. So this was back in the co-angler days for the Elite Series.
It's been a long time ago. But yeah, he looked at me after that and had his bottom lip poked out because he was having fun catching everything that bit. I'm like, no more.
No, I just talk about how honest and truthful you are, Matt. And now Mark Lamb saying he didn't ball the hooks up, he cut the bait off.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty cool. All right, Matt, I want to ask you this. The thing that has occurred all across the nation is the pressure on the lakes. And I'm not talking necessarily tournament pressure, but the amount of people that have been fishing during the COVID-19 situation. Sam Rayburn, no stranger to that. There has been an enormous amount of people fishing on that lake all year long. Now throw in the fact that it is September, one of the toughest times of the year. How much impact will the pressure put on this lake during the event next week?
That lake has been beat to pieces this year. There was a window, I don't remember exactly when it was, in April, most likely, where they closed the ramps at Falcon for 2 weeks. So I was home. I went to Rayburn on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. There was not one parking place in the Castle Boykins parking lot, and every lot you drove by was that way. There were literally, 1,000+ boats on that lake on a middle of the week day.
Wow.
And it did that for several months. It's fishing tough right now, and that's a lot of it. Even the crappie guides are having trouble catching crappie over it right now.
That's not what I like to
the
hear.
numbers they usually do. It's a phenomenal crappie lake, and they're struggling a little bit. But any lake can only take so much pressure before it affects it. And I mean, there were even Lake Erie and St. Clair and them. They're all going through the same thing with the overcrowding of boats. Just because everybody was off work.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them were supposed to be working, but they were fishing.
Yeah.
So are you booked up the rest of the year then?
Man, I'm kind of strange. I don't book very far out. about 6 weeks out. It's about as far as I'll book. In fact, right now I hadn't even started trying to book anything in October. So I've got a few days open in September. Very few, but I do still have a few. But I haven't booked all the way through. I kind of like to fit in a little deer hunting, and my dad's our group that goes to Venice, Louisiana, chasing bull reds every October. We're doing that late October. That'll be a handful of your Oklahoma guys. Big Terry Butcher, he heads that way with a couple other boats from up there, and me and my dad go, and we have a ball chasing big reds in our bass boats.
Very nice.
I don't tend to book too far ahead, but about 6 weeks. I'll start booking October real soon and throw November in there. And that's the great thing about Falcon. I can fish all winter. There's really not a winter.
All right, very nice. Let's do this, man. I want to take a break, and then I want to talk. We'll come back, and we'll talk a little bit more about Falcon with you here on a Wednesday. So everybody stay tuned. We'll be back with more with Matt Reed.
Let's face it, fishing electronics are no longer an afterthought. They've become a necessity. And at the Bass Tank, our experts match you with the right electronics, provide professional installation, and educate you to help maximize your catching results while providing support along the way. Because let's be honest, it's about catching, not just fishing. And when you're ready for better results, join the Bass Tank team. Visit us today on Facebook or go to thebasstank.com.
Hey everybody, Todd Faircloth here. Want to show you one of my favorite braided lines, SX1 30-pound Sunline braid. I use this braided line for a couple of different applications, and one of my favorites to use for this line is a swim jig. Casts great, and it's small diameter, and just works really great on a swim jig. Another technique I like to use for 30-pound SX1 Sunline braid is whenever I'm flipping like a light, say an 1/8 to a 1/4 ounce weight in grass, small diameter, I don't lose much action on my worm, just works great in those scenarios. So if you're looking for a braided line for a swim jig or fishing a light Texas rig, check out Sunline's SX1 30-pound braid.
Let's face it, fishing electronics are no longer an afterthought. They've become a necessity. And at the Bass Tank, our experts match you with the right electronics, provide professional installation, and educate you to help maximize your catching results while providing support along the way. Because let's be honest, it's about catching, not just fishing. And when you're ready for better results, join the Bass Tank team. Visit us today on Facebook or go to thebasstank.com.
All of us on the Pro Tournament Trail use Gamakatsu hooks.
Why?
Because they are absolutely the best.
It's not about how many bites you get,
it's how many you put in the boat.
Gamakatsu makes hooks for every fishing style.
We didn't come this far to lose fish.
Did you?
For more information, visit gamakatsu.com.
The Big Bite Baits Kamikaze Swim On is a very unique bait, and it's got a full body but with ribs to give it a bigger profile but not more plastic. It's got a jointed tail that gives it a lot of action, as well as this up and down crawl type trail with holes and ribs in it, so it creates a bubble trail almost. This bait is supposed to be fished upside down or vertical like this on a great for a chatterbait. I prefer it on a swim jig as well, but you can also cut it down and put it on the back of a finesse jig. Flip it around for some spotted bass or flipping docks. Anytime you want a small, compact, little trailer for it, this is great for it. So check out the full lineup of swim-ons at bigbitebaits.com. Professional angler, you've got so many things on your mind. Any advantage that we have is key. And not only rods and reels and lines and baits, but in our clothes. And the guys at AFCO, they have something for every situation. There's nothing AFCO hasn't thought about with the fisherman in mind. It's designed for fishermen, by fishermen, for every scenario you can come to. Any fish, any water, any condition, AFCO has you covered.
Yeah, you care about gear ratios, inches per turn, and ball bearings, but most importantly, you want reliability and dependability in the equipment you use. Lew's doesn't cut corners when it comes to the gear they build. The new Speed Spool LFS is the best $99 reel in the market. Go see for yourself.
The name SPRO says it all. SPRO stands for Sports Professionals. When you look at the pro staff that SPRO has brought on board over the past 15 years, it's been pretty incredible. I mean, one got it just then. From the development of the rock crawler to the McStick, from the Fat Papa to the Little John series, when you tie a SPRO bait on, you know it's been designed by a professional to get the job done.
All right, we are back on a Wednesday with our special guest, Matt Reed. And let's bring him back in here. Matt, you there, man?
I am.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Falcon. You mentioned before we went to break your booking. You got a few openings. Really, describe what a trip in the month of September or October, even in the winter, would be like from an opportunity to catch a big fish.
You know, and I'm a little prejudiced, but there is not a place you can go, a public water, that you have the opportunity to catch a big fish with as high a percentage as you do there. You know, August, September, October, and it'll be fishing will be that way all the way through the middle of January, unless we get a major water fluctuation. The fish will be offshore. They'll be on rock structure. They'll be on brush piles. And odds are every day you're going to have an opportunity, at least a 7 or 8 pounder every day. And bigger ones happen often. You know, I've been sitting home for a couple of weeks since I failed to restart after the restart and didn't make the championship. So I had a couple of weeks off.
Start after the restart.
You know, I've in my Facebook memories have kept popping up over the last week, and it's just amazing day after amazing day over the last years from down there that just keep popping back up. You know, a bunch of 45-pound days have popped up in the last week, you know, that happened during this span in the last couple of years. So, you know, 10-pounder happens pretty common, you know, not like the old days, but we'll catch an honest 10-pounder every week or 10 days. You catch a lot of 9-pounders. That's what's, you know, to get one truly over the double-digit top on your scales, not in your mind, you know, that happens every week or 10 days.
Hey, how many?
It might happen 2 or 3 days in a row, but, you know.
How many of your clients, be honest here, have hooked a fish and gone, oh my God, it's a 10-pounder, and then they put it on the scales and it's not? What is the percentage of it's a 10-pounder and then the scales tell that it's an 8.5?
Oh, that's probably the average. You know, I'm not going to give you it's a 10-pounder until I put him on the scales and it starts with a 1. You know, one of my favorite lines that people say all the time is, oh, it's a 10-pounder, weigh him. And I'll look him in the eye and I'll say, well, do you want it to be a 10-pounder or do you want me to weigh him? because those two things aren't going to go hand in hand. But you do catch a lot of really big fish. You know, that's what's so fun. You know, an average day, your best 5 are going to weigh right at 30. At least 25 to 27. 30-pound days are super common. And bigger days happen a lot. So, and this is my favorite time of year because they group up in groups of big ones. You know, my numbers are not crazy high. You know, they're in the 30 or 40 fish a day range. But you'll have days that are a bunch higher numbers than that. There'll be a time of year where we'll catch 75, 100 fish a day. And when I was down there, my last trip, like I said, I hadn't been in 6 weeks, so I'm really ready to go. My numbers were in that 30 to 40 fish a day range, which I usually have somewhere I can go catch a whole bunch of fish. They may not be, pound and a half to 4 pounders. I didn't have that spot that last time I was down there where I could go run up 30 or 40 fish off one spot and then go run around and add big fish to it. So hopefully I can find me an area where you can go get a bunch of bites and then go add big ones to it as you go. But what's so fun, even when you're catching those numbers off spots down there, anytime you set the hook, it might be one of those big bug-eyed son of guns. You can catch a 10-pounder on any cast.
Are you still mixing in the crappie? I know, just following you on social media the last couple of years, you've had a lot of guys who want to do combo trips, and I think we even talked about this the last time we had you on.
That's so funny. I kind of caught that addiction a little bit before you did. I started seeing those crappie in those brush piles 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm like, I've never fished for a crappie on purpose.
On Falcon. We're talking about Falcon here.
I'm talking about Falcon now. I'm talking about anywhere in general. I'd never crappie fished on purpose. And I'm like, I bet I can figure out how to catch those. And it's a lot of fun. I bet you half of my repeat customers, which a lot of my customers are return guys, a bunch of them have put it into their rotation. Now, we're going to take some time today to catch some crappie, right? So, that's gotten to be a bunch of fun. I would have never thought I would have gotten to where I enjoy that as much as I do. But that little old thunk on the end of that spinning rod is a bunch of fun.
Wow. All right. Typically, for those people out there that may not be familiar with it, typically, what are you doing this time of the year?
I'm throwing a big crankbait or a football jig a lot, Carolina rig, fishing out on rock mainly. There's also a lot of man-made brush piles now that I'll throw a Texas rig, big worm through to catch to catch a lot of fish. So in general, I'm fishing away from the shore, on rock structure. And that's the key. Even the brush piles, they're put on the rock structure. They're just additions to what was already there. So, I'm going to be fishing away from the bank, throwing a crankbait or a football jig, Carolina rig, or Texas rig. That's pretty much my deal. Now this year this summer I did catch some fish on a big swim bait, which is abnormal for pass down there. But I have caught some, on a half-ounce head, slow rolling a big old swim bait out there.
What about the topwater bite, Matt? Does that even exist?
It does not exist.
Why is that?
Catch one. But, Mark, I've never figured that out. Those fish can be schooling, can be blowing shad. And you throw a topwater, yes, you'll catch one every now and then. You throw a crankbait, you may catch two at a time a bunch of times. They just don't like sticking their head out of the water. And I don't know why that they won't bite it any better than that. My brain says, yeah, clear water is a better topwater bite, so the water's dirty down there. That's the reason. But shoot, there's a lot of lakes that are not real clear that they bite a topwater. But I normally don't even have them in my boat anymore down there.
So, like when you're on a square bill bite up shallow around those bushes and stuff like that, I mean, you can't run a buzz bait around those bushes and get smoked.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's been a many time I thought it was amazing buzzbait water when the water's come up in its green, in the green cover, and it looks phenomenal. You throw a buzzbait for a half a mile, and you pick spinnerbait up, and you start blasting them. I mean, that 2 inches of difference, they just won't stick their head out of the water very often.
Wow.
But, you catch one on buzzbait every now and then, but top water is rarely the deal.
There's got to be some sort of biology behind this. Why some lakes are topwater lakes and others aren't. There's got to be some... Is
it the forage there, maybe?
Some sort of biology.
You think it's the forage? Tilapia?
Hey, you said shad. There's
I don't know.
shad too, aren't there?
More shad in that lake. You got more shad in that lake than any lake you'll ever see.
And they'll school.
You got shad, tilapia, crawfish. So I've not been able to rationalize it. I just finally quit trying. We're kind of stupid. We'll keep trying stuff that seems like it ought to work, but after 7 or 8 years of beating your head on the wall, when it seems like that time, you just don't even try it anymore.
Who would be able to even answer that question? Why some lakes are way more prone to topwater than others? Is that a biologist question? Is there even an answer to that question? Because it is like I don't know. You talk to people and they're like, "That's a topwater lake. That's not." Remember? That's how it is.
Yeah. That's how it is. In Del Rio, right up, 4 hours up the road, the next lake up at Amistad, it's clear, but it's a topwater lake.
In 90-degree weather.
Yes.
At noon.
Yeah.
Over 50 foot of water.
Yeah, because he could see it from the bottom. But I don't know. Oklahoma, Lord, they live shallow and bite a buzzbait. You come to Oklahoma, you think if you hadn't got a white buzzbait and a black buzzbait tied on when you cross the state line, you're not an official Oklahoman.
Well, he's got a point, Matt.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm curious, Matt. Any thoughts? I know the season kind of wrapped up, but any thoughts on what you're going to do next year, or is it really kind of up in the air?
I plan on fishing the FLW Pro Circuit again, as long as things, continue like they are. This is going to be an interesting winter. Everybody's going to deal with sponsor situations that we don't know for sure what's going to happen. Heck, we don't even know exactly what's going to happen organizations-wise in the fishing world. We think we do and we hope we do, but with all this country's been through, and economic-wise, no organization can really tell you 100% what's going on. And I enjoy fishing FLW a ton. I've fished the elites for a long time and have fished the FLW circuit now for several years, and I'm very comfortable where I am. And that's one thing that fishermen need to do. You need to pick where you're comfortable, and that's where you need to be. Don't be positive about the fishing industry. Don't try to badmouth one organization over the other. Heck, we're all in the same business trying to make a living.
Yeah. All right. Howard wants to know on the YouTube instant feedback, where should he go? Falcon or Fork? Which lake would be a better trip?
Oh, that's not even a question.
Yeah.
Falcon, let me back up. If you want a teener, it's a better shot at a 1/13. That happens more often at Falcon. At Fork than it does Falcon. But at Fork, you're fishing for 5 to 8 bites a day through this time of the year, maybe 10. Sometimes, you have some good days. But there's lots of days at Fork you don't get a bite. Falcon is a numbers lake with a good opportunity to catch a 10-pounder. So yes, I'm prejudiced, but I used to guide at Fork all the time. Okay, I spent a bunch of time guiding at Fork, and I've quit going, and there's a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got big ones. Okay, don't think I'm saying it does not have big ones. It has big fish, but it's got a lot of pressure and not that many bites.
What's the pressure like at Falcon?
Not. During the COVID deal, it was busier than I'd seen it in several years, and there'd be 30 boats on it, 30 or 40 boats. Wow. That's busy.
Is that just because there hasn't been a tour event?
No.
The Elite Series is what kind of opened it up, but is it just because there hasn't been anything there for a number of years? The lake kind of had it down. Now it's on the upswing, and there hasn't been a 130-pound tournament there, and people just kind of bypass it?
I guess. You don't accidentally go to Falcon.
That's true. You can accidentally go to Mexico trying to get to Falcon, but you don't accidentally go to Falcon. That is true.
Take the International Bridge in Laredo, and you could end up like, oops, I need to turn around.
Yeah.
They don't like it when you turn around after you're in line.
No.
But no, pressure down there is very minimal. You know, there'll be times that I may not see a boat or two for a couple of days. You know, 20 boats a day is probably a good average number for what's on Falcon.
All right, what is it time-wise from San Antonio? What is it, 3 hours?
3 hours, 3.5 hours.
Okay.
Something like that. You can fly in San Antonio. You can fly into Laredo, and it's 45 miles.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of my customers, they fly into Laredo, rent a car. Heck, you know, I just assume they didn't bring anything. You know, they can fly in and not bring a pole, a bait, or anything. Just show up and we'll go fishing. We'll go catch them.
Nice.
If you drive in, sure, bring some stuff if you want to. But, you know, my deal with my people is just get down there. We'll get them caught. I own a rod and reel or two.
Got them covered. Yeah. Well, all right.
Got them covered pretty well.
Got them covered. All right. If anybody wants to try and book a trip with you, what do they need to do?
You know, there's several ways they can do it. They can go to my website at mattreedbasspro.com, and it's got a link to contact me. You know, heck, they can just call me on my cell phone. I don't care. It's 936-348-0640. You know, and we can set up a trip. Also, they can look me up on Facebook, and it's just under Matt Reed. Send me a message on Facebook, direct message, and we'll line it up. I don't have a fancy website where you can book a trip on my website. You know, it's all going to be done by contact. So, you know, heck, just get a hold of me any way you can there, and we'll line it up and get you down there where you can jerk real hard when your cork goes under.
Does that include
Very
a
nice.
Mexican dinner with you at the local establishment there after a day of fishing?
Man, you know my profile. I'm going to go eat. So, you know, we usually eat a lot of days we eat dinner together. Some days we don't. Sometimes I might even cook crappie for you.
Ooh.
I've been known to do that on occasion.
That's the all-inclusive package. That's a premium package with Matt Reed. It includes
Little crappie.
It includes a dozen minnows and crappie fillets.
There you have it. All right. Good stuff. All right.
No minnows. There are no minnows down there. It's all jig fish.
You clean the fish too, Matt? Like, do they stand there and you fillet them for them?
I will clean a crappie, okay? I will not clean a white bass. So I will clean your crappie. But if you want white bass, I'm going to say, well, bring a cooler.
Wow. Wow. Well, I know a lot of people, once you get down there, you haven't been down there for a while, right, Matt?
Right. I have not. It's been 6 weeks. I just looked.
All right. So a lot of requests. Let me know. Just kind of send me a text or an email or whatever. Let me know what it's like. And maybe we could just have you on the show for 5 or 10 minutes to give people an update on what the water clarity's like,
okay.
You know, and just kind of update, because a lot of people are interested. Obviously, it's a commitment to make that trip because it is a pretty good drive for a lot of people, or making arrangements to fly in either San Antonio or Laredo. So, yeah, we'll get you on. You're going to be down there for a week. Maybe we'll have you on for like 5-10 minutes. Just give us an update. How's that sound?
Sounds like a winner. It'll be good. I mean, my buddies, a couple other guys that got down there, they busted them the last week or so. So I'm excited to get down there and make it be my turn.
Very nice. All right, last question. 3 days, Sam Rayburn. What's it going to take to win? Do you think 16 pounds a day gets it done?
No.
More than that?
16 will not get it done. 16 pounds a day.
How much?
It's going to take for three days. I'm thinking. My brain is getting old and slow. It has to do a little
That's kind of
calculating.
scary because my spotted bass on the dam pattern isn't looking good when you said no there.
It ain't looking real good. You know, there's going to be a day somebody catches 26 to 30. It's going to take 60 pounds to win.
All right. Simple math there.
It'll take 20 pounds a day minimum to win. But it's going to fall off pretty hard, pretty quickly. There's not going to be a whole bunch of real big sacks is the way I would look at that.
All right. All right. Very cool insight, Matt. We greatly appreciate you taking time out. And we'll get an update on Falcon for the folks here. Maybe next week, have you on for 5 or 10 minutes. But great stuff. Wish you nothing but the best, man. Wish this year went a little better for you, but there's next year. And there are very few class acts in this game like Matt Reed. Matthew.
Thanks, my friend.
Yeah.
I agree.
Good dude, man. So if you're interested in making that trip down to Falcon Lake, make sure you check out Matt Reed. Just do a Google search. He told you all the ways, and you will have a great, great day on the water with Matt. All right, man. Take care. We'll talk to you soon, Matt.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Take care. There you have it, and I'm serious. There are nice guys, and there are really nice guys out there, and Matt's one of them.
He's
definitely
legit.
Great golfer, too.
Yeah.
At one time, he was a scratch golfer. Swing. You get the idea. And let me ask you this. In golf, when you see somebody swing a golf club, you get a pretty good indication of what type of player they are.
In one swing.
If
you just walk up clean slate, watch a guy hit a drive off number 1 tee.
Yeah. Agree?
Yes.
All right. Take that now to fishing. If you see somebody on the front deck of the boat for the first time and they make a cast or a flip for the first time, can you get a good indication on what type of angler they are?
Real talk here?
Real talk.
You can tell if they suck. You can't tell how good they are.
Okay. I agree. If they do this and it goes poof.
Because golf is a deal where, if you swing, you make good contact and you hit the ball well.
Yeah.
You may be a sucky putter, but you're going to score, right?
Yeah.
You could technically be the world's best at flipping, pitching, casting, skipping, everything. And if you suck at making decisions and you're not skipping, flipping, pitching, casting around fish, you're going to zero every single time. It'd be like hitting the perfect golf shot, but there's no hole.
Huh.
So can you tell whether a guy is a good decision maker by watching him make one cast? No.
Well, that's so much more. I'm just talking from a mechanic standpoint. In other words, is that an indication?
When you get to the higher level, it's an indication of weather. But fishing, mechanics do not make you a good fisherman. Now, I understand there's a lot in golf, but you will score if you have good mechanics in golf. There is no guarantee that you will score if you have good. Now, not saying you won't make a bad decision and try to club a 300-yard drive over water every now and then, but you're still going to be around the green and in the short stuff. You can be the best in the world to make bad decisions at fishing. It'd be out of left field.
Yeah.
That's why there's guys that don't have the world's best mechanics that have won a lot because their decision making is what got it done.
Yeah. But I'll go back to the initial question. Indicator?
Yeah, because the only way you get those is time on the water, and time on the water leads to better decision making because you've made the bad decisions and you've learned from
with
it.
anything. But just
time on the water.
That initial indicator of, this guy's got a little game.
I feel like you can tell within a minute whether a guy is comfortable. Here's the way I look at it. I get emails. We got 2 minutes, don't we?
Yeah.
Before your root canal. Here's the way I look at it. I get a lot of emails from listeners and stuff. Hey, when do you know if you ready for the Toyota Series or the Opens or what? I went through that with you and a bunch of other people, and I say, and like you played college ball, right?
Yep.
Like in an inning, are you when you're fielding a grounder, when you're throwing, are you thinking, block the ball, get in front? No, you just do it, right? When you're hitting, are you, and you're on a roll, are you thinking about your mechanics when everything's going well?
No, because you've worked really hard on
now here's the thing,
building those mechanics up.
The guys who are succeeding in this activity sport, whatever you want to call it right now, are not Jacob Wheeler is not thinking about his mechanics. They're not thinking about their mechanics. They're doing. Their focus is 100% on decision making and execution. Fishing in this tournament fishing is unique, and I'm on a little bit of a rant here, so bear with me, but it's important. We haven't gone down this path before. In my opinion, fishing and tournament fishing is unique because you can do it for years and years and not have massive amounts of experience, right? Mm-hmm. If you're up north, you might go months in between it. If you're tournament fishing, you might fish once or twice a month. You're not going to the driving range every night on the way home from work for an hour because it's an hour and a half investment, even if you're 20 minutes from the lake, to get the boat, to go there, to put it in, to get to the fishing, to get to the spot.
Yeah.
So you have people who have done it for 10 or 15 years at a solid level, a club tournament level and all that, who are still thinking about mechanics. And I don't think you can be thinking about mechanics and be successful. I remember this in hockey. When I was playing really well, I'm not thinking about it. I'm instinctually reacting. Yeah. When I got moved down to the third line my junior year and was afraid to make a mistake and stuff and got moved to the wing, I vividly remember thinking, get on the board, chip the puck out, high off the glass, am I in my lane? Dude, I freaking sucked. I was thinking about the mechanics of what I was doing instead of playing the damn game.
Yeah.
And it's that split second of questioning, and you do it over and over, and it removes it removes the mechanics aspect, and you're able to fish. So when you're on the trolling motor, when you're dumping the boat, and when you're doing it, it just happens. It's like walking. It's like getting up. It's like watching TV on your couch. You're that comfortable in it, and that, I think, allows you to make better decisions because your mind is focused on what it needs to be focused on.
No, I like that. That's good stuff. I still think it's an indicator, though. You can get an indicator on whether or not this person has game or may have game or may not have game. Agree?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I mean, you've got some game. But I think you throw a crappy spinnerbait, you don't worry if the wire is attached to it. Your tag ends are really long.
I'm with you. My game
But you have game, so I'm saying...
needs a lot of work.
Like your indicators, I would be like, I don't know if this guy... But then you go out and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So...
yeah,
it's unique. It's a unique sport that I don't think can be compared to anything else because of all the different variables that only exist in nature.
No, I agree. All right, good stuff. All right, I want to thank Matt Reed for being on the show today. Tomorrow, PM show, folks, 7 o'clock Central Time, Gray Buck, Ish Monroe. And then I just received confirmation. Next week, Hank Cherry is going to join us. I don't know what day. So he's been going through a lot, and I reached out to him, and should be a good interview because of how his classic win has been affected by COVID-19.
Yeah, and can he get back on track? The next one's in the Carolinas.
Yeah, so we'll see. So good stuff next week. I think that's it. I'm off to get the dental work here in a few.
Can we GoPro that?
No. So hopefully I'll be able to. You may have to run the show. You'll be in Tulsa for the show tomorrow, so might be able to do that. Anyway, that's it, folks. One more day this week. Everybody be safe out there. We're out of here.